dropped us on a different. I feel like it was a different beat this time.
I felt like it was too. I was like, oh, we're on.
We're here. Yes, hello.
Here we are. Saturday morning.
Yes, I was just thinking. I'm like, who needs coffee? Well, I like enjoy my coffee, and we've had several. I know. I'm not going to make us give up coffee, but like Doodle and Chat is a whole level of infusion.
Yes, I wish this counted for my cardio.
I know, right? I have often thought about that, like how people or like being healthy means, you work out, you journal, you do this and that and this and that. I'm like, because I think Annabeth and I've joked about it, and my kids and I, like, if my drawing counted as workouts, Mandi, I would be so buff. I might even have a 6-pack. I would be so buff. I'm like,
that's funny. I know, right? But it does count for self-care, though.
It does. You're right. And so our heart and our minds are very, very healthy.
That's right.
But I would like, if it counted for the rest of my body in terms of physical fitness, I would draw all the time. Like if that could be the thing that was my physical fitness, like I would be so incredibly fit.
Yep. Same. Same.
But so how sure, like couch to doodle's not a thing,
It's not. I wish couch to 5K, couch to doodle. I would subscribe to that one 100%.
Absolutely.
So how was your week?
It was good. It was good. It's busy that we're, the kids are still keeping me on my toes. There's a couple of tricky ones that I'm still just trying to find the right system that works for them. But it's not anything that I don't love, and it's fun to do, and it's a challenge, but it's also like you and I were talking, like, I don't know, like post 45 and teaching is just a different ball game.
It is. I am by far the oldest of our admin team, and they were kind of making fun of me last night because we had our earpieces in at the football game to hear, but even then I can't hear it very well. And one of them said, "Hey, who's at the South?" Or somebody's like, "Who has the South?" And I heard, "Who has the clown?" And I was like, "Why do we have clowns?" And they're like, "Listen, old lady, clean out your ears." It's like, why are there clowns here?
I know. The other, like last year I had my Apple Watch on and I got a text from somebody, and my lovely 20-ish something speech pathologist that works on my team was like as the phone alerted me that I had a text and the text came up, it was almost like her eyes were blinded. She was like, "Oh my gosh, Carrie, that font is so big." And I'm like, "How big is it?"
That is too funny.
And I'm just like, "Listen, you just wait. Just you wait."
All right. Well, the other thing I'm really excited about this morning is our guest that we have with us.
Yes.
We have, and speaking of not being on the right page, there we go. So our guest today is a science teacher for over 20 years who started off surprisingly hating science in high school. So through his education journey, he realized he wanted to become a teacher, and we are all better for it. His goal is to create hands-on, memorable classroom experiences using things like bowling balls and sledgehammers. He's also breaking down the barriers from, and this is a quote from him, from legacy teaching practices. And I love the way that he phrased that.
Yes.
So in 2021, he was awarded the Distinction and Service Award by his community. And this is a person that I've admired his work on the former Twitter for quite some time. So I am so excited to welcome Mohammad to Doodle and Chat today.
Yay!
Well, thank you so much. It's wonderful to be here.
It is wonderful. Good morning.
Wonderful. It's really exciting to wake up and, well, actually, I've been up since probably 5:30. So I already had my coffee. Sorry.
That's all right. It's my second cup. So
okay. Good job. Good job.
Good job.
All right. Good job. All right. So who's all right, let's test the audience. Who is off to the side of my head? Who's in the picture off to the side of my head?
Me?
Right. No. There's
we can't see it that far back.
Yeah. Frame picture behind my head.
I don't know. Who is it?
All right. Do you want me to bring it up?
Sure.
All right. I'll bring it up. Hopefully you can tell the state off to the side of my head.
Is it Wisconsin?
Yes, it is Wisconsin.
Okay.
All right. Now, Carrie.
Yes.
Hopefully you can tell who that. Well, if you can't tell who that is, well, you should be sadly disappointed. But let me bring it up.
Okay.
Just so you know who it is. All right.
Oh, Barack. Look at that.
Yeah. All right. Back when before he had the gray hair. Before he had the grays and before I had the grays and all that good stuff. All right. So just thought I'd get us off on our little office space. All right. Okay. Now, so we talked about physics roll. And
Well, we're going to talk about you, but you don't get to decide.
the bull. Oh,
we have the bull that knows here.
The orb.
The orb.
Orb. I love it.
It's starting to grow into new nicknames. So now it's the orb. Yesterday, or what was it? Greg called it the bull. The bull that needs to smoke a bowl.
The bowl that, yes, that's exactly. So we've got the orb today.
To our friends that are here with us, whether you're joining us live or later on, in a second, we're going to turn our cameras on, and Mandi and I are going to doodle and chat with Mohammad. But we have the bowl that knows. It's filled with questions. Some of them are researched, and Mike has his pens with him. The bowl is filled with questions, specially just for Mike. And then there's a few in here that are random ones that even Mandi and I don't know which ones they are. So we're going to turn our cameras on. We'll pull our first question from the bowl, and then we'll see what our first thing that we get to chat and doodle about Mike is.
All right, let's
go.
Oh, I need to lower my camera down.
Oh, it's a random one. Mike, what are you best at fixing?
Oh gosh, what am I best at fixing? Now, this depends on whether we're talking about at home or whether we're talking about in school. At home, I think I'm best at fixing. I'm a really I don't want to say I don't have the funds anymore because I'm wed. I'm married, and I don't have the funds to buy all the fun audio stuff that I used to have. But I really do love fixing audio equipment. Not like, like getting in there and soldering, but doing the connections and all that stuff. Yeah. At school, I love tinkering with lessons and integrating taking a lesson and integrating interaction in it. I think that is where I'm at. Yesterday, for example, I was subbing for a teacher, and it turned out somehow the teacher said that the teacher had some plans on Canvas, our learning management system, and I couldn't find them. So what basically I did, I used one of my favorite software platforms, Pear Deck, and just turned our essential questions, the essential questions that were posted for the unit, because they have a test coming up next week, and really just turned it, turned it over to the audience. All right, turn the essential questions and just turn them literally as, all right, answer this. What does this mean? And just built the lesson on the fly in 15 minutes.
Love it.
And I think that getting to the heart of the matter and letting the student's voice being heard, and as opposed to me talking, because like this was us I'll say it's a psychology course, and I'm not a psychology. It starts with a P, and it starts with a P, but it is not my expertise. And going from there, and the idea was, I told them, okay, I want you to teach me about this. And the key is really, if you don't know, just say you don't know. All right.
Yes.
Take this as an opportunity to learn from your cohorts, and an opportunity to learn from them. And I love fixing and tinkering with lessons. And honestly, I think that's what's gonna come in. And I'm just gonna take a brief break and just jump in, because even though my handle is Mo Physics, just jump in, because I'm no longer a science teacher. And maybe we'll get to that later, but maybe we'll get to that later. The orb may come up with that. And
The orb.
if the orb comes into that, great, but I'm no longer a science teacher anymore. And that's why I was subbing for this psychology teacher. So the ability to create that lesson really on the fly using software integration to actually let student voices be heard. And honestly, that is what I really am. And oh yeah, I got to draw too. Sorry, I got to doodle.
You don't have to.
Oh gosh, I'm talking too much. I got to doodle.
You're doing great.
I forgot. I got to draw my TV and speakers.
Awesome.
Yeah, okay. So I just got, excuse me, just a new, even though these are gonna be old-fashioned speakers, we just got a new sound bar for like really cheap, and I had to set it up all on I set it up, on my own, and it was really easy to set up, and just had to do a little bit of problem solving there. But again, let me just draw my little Perry. Oh gosh, this is a terrible Perry. For Perry.
I avoided Perry.
Oh, I drew Perry.
Did you draw Perry?
I did. He's not great. I mean, but I've learned over the years, because I also love Pear Deck, and I've had to draw Perry a couple of times. In my mind, Perry's very forgiving.
Yes.
He doesn't mind. So
yes. But the idea is that, how do we find a way to fix a lesson so students are talking to students?
I love it.
Without, we could do it like, okay, a student talking to a student, but maybe some students are very shy about letting their voice being heard. And I was really one of those students who would maybe knew the answer, but was not one who would speak up for one reason or another, because okay, I knew the answer, but I'd keep my head down. But giving students the opportunity to share what they learned anonymously, and really answer these essential questions for the unit that are really the heart of the matter, are really important, in my opinion.
Agreed. Mandi and I would agree with you.
we would.
All right.
I don't know why I'm drawing a hammer. Like, you wouldn't use a hammer to fix stereo. I mean, maybe if you're gonna destroy it, but I feel like that was the easiest thing to do. And then I drew it and I was like, oh, that's not very good. It's okay.
All right.
You ready for another question, Mike?
Of course I'm ready.
All right, let's do this. Well, this goes right into what you've already been talking about.
All right, perfect.
You have shared that engagement, voice, access, and expression are an important part of a science class. What are some simple ways other educators can make sure it is also part of their classrooms? And I especially would love to hear about, if I'm, being picky, just for my own benefit.
Mhm.
I felt like when I was reading about your work, expression and voice in the science class, I feel like are things that people don't commonly want or don't commonly connect with science class. And I would love to hear anything, ideas or mindsets that you have for bringing expression and voice into the science classroom or any classroom for that matter.
Yeah. I really think expression and voice. Let's start out with voice. Student voice is really the easiest way to start. I honestly think it seems kind of silly, but the first question that I put in this little pear deck, it might seem completely random, but the first question I asked these students who I'd never met before was, oh, what song should I add to my Apple Music playlist?
Love it.
Just a stupid question, you know, just like, oh, what should I add to that? To you know, just to hear from them, to let them express a little bit about themselves and get to know them just a little bit. And then the other side on voice is really, if we talk about voice and choice, kind of putting those two together is really, I think voice at the end of any unit is really building in that really, how was this unit for you?
Okay.
Really buying into it and not just like, oh, this is a survey. Okay. I've taught this unit for 20 years. It's been fine for 20 years, and this is the way I've done it for 20 years. And while I'm retiring in 2 years, why would I ever change it? Are you willing to really change it? Why are you giving this survey if you're not willing to change it? If you're willing to ask these questions, if you're taking the time to ask these questions, why aren't you bringing that back into the next unit? If you're asking questions, why aren't you building off of it? You know, if you're listening to your students, if you're taking that time to ask those questions, why aren't you doing anything with those answers?
I love that.
All right. Now I forgot the first part of the question.
Student expression.
All right. Expression. All right. Now, expression. What I love about expression is, and let's talk about, I think that goes along with choice. So if you give students the voice in terms of how, if you just ask them simply, how best could you have expressed your understanding of this information, whether it be an infographic, whether it be a doodle,
Good one.
whether it be a multiple choice question, you know, if they can do it, honestly, you know, you don't have to you can take away their tools, their notes from them, consider it a test if you wanted to, but let's take these materials. If you want to take their notes away from you, and okay, you're prepared for this, and I don't want you to do a Scantron. Everyone's not great at Scantrons. I want you to be able to express it to me the best way you can. So giving that opportunity to hear them say, all right, what's the best way for you to express that? Whether that be even even a video, maybe with a partner. Even,
Okay.
it doesn't have to be alone. Even just a video with a partner, a short movie with a partner, giving an example of something. And there's nothing wrong, in my mind, there's nothing wrong with group work if they've planned it out together and they talk about their roles. I think there's nothing wrong with that when we're talking about assessment, as long as they've clearly defined their roles, in my opinion.
I like that.
I do too. I really do.
So it's really about the it's almost it's really our problem as educators and how we see assessments. It's not really on the students. Like we just need to get over ourselves that that Scantrons and multiple, page long multiple choice tests are not the only way that are valuable ways to get information from our students.
Yeah. Because all of our students are not necessarily going to the same place after this. What we're looking for, if we have these, honestly, at our school, we have these essential questions, and all of our students are, it's not a matter of honestly answering these on Scantrons, because honestly, they're going to take PSATs or whatever standardized testing, and we're going to give them prep for these standardized testing and out in some way, shape, or form. Let's work on our content. If we're trying to get them to understand our content, why aren't we giving them the true opportunity to express their understanding of this content, whatever it be?
Agreed. And I think, the thing about that also, and I know you do a lot of work with this because we did some, I did, got to know you before this episode, but by taking that approach that you just said, you're really creating a lot of accessibility to multiple students, and like it's universal design learning, right?
Yes.
And it's making, no matter what the level of the content is, it makes it accessible to students in a variety of different ways. And it makes modifying and accessibility easy. If it's available to everybody, and it makes it easy for every teacher to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, it really does. And I really do believe in this whole idea of universal design for learning. If you have the base, if you know what you want your students, where you want your students to go, what you want your students to understand and express, if you know specifically, and I think that's the most important thing. A test, you can have 50 questions, and these 50 questions are set for you. You may not know what you're looking for. You may have 50 questions that are set up, and you're just running through the Scantron. And you have no idea. I just use Scantron because I'm old.
We are too. We know what Scantron is.
Yes,
We do.
just because I just remember the tickers, the tick tick tick, and then you'd hear one with just the one tick, and you hear the one with like lots of ticks, and you're like, oh no. Oh no.
Oh dear.
Let's just pretend that they were one off on their Scantron, on their numbering. But if you don't know where you want your students to end, if you haven't aligned all these different forms of expression. So again, forms of expression, I'm going to write this down, need to be aligned. This is not so much a doodle. I'm going to actually make a line here.
Well, that's what we're doing. That's what I'm doing. I'm making a finish line.
Yeah.
That's what you're talking about.
Yeah. Expression. Because that's going to be the goal. Think about, I'm just going to think about, we're homecoming weekend.
Yes.
We just had homecoming weekend, the big homecoming dances tonight. So really just think about homecoming. It's the big football game. Everyone's very excited. And you just think about that and just think about the football game and, think about the goal line. All right. There's whole game book of different ways you can get to the goal line. You just don't have to run the ball.
Oh, I love this analogy. Yes.
You don't just have to pass the ball. You have a whole playbook of different ways you can get to the goal line. Why would you just choose one way to get to the goal line? If you want to think about, you start 1st and 10. Are you just going to run the ball down the middle of the field 4 times in a row, or let's say 3 times in a row and punt? Why would you do that? Why would you teach your students just to run when you could teach them the best way for them to learn. Maybe I'm not a runner. Maybe I'm a passer. You know, we have different positions for different reasons because they have different skill sets. Certain students have different skill sets. Why would you ever teach a student a skill set that they're not equipped for? You know, think about it that way. But they're all, you know, they're all achieving the same outcome. They're working, they may be working as a team, but, you know, they're working on a team, and, you know, the ultimate goal is for them to meet their goals. But the goal is, in the end, is to eventually meet the goal. You know, just think about it that way. It's kind of a foggy metaphor. I didn't get a chance to think about it too much.
I love it. It totally makes sense to me. Like, even as you were bringing up homecoming, if homecoming is the goal,
yeah,
high schools around the United States get to that goal differently. How they do their spirit week, how they do their dance, how they the rules that they have involved in who you can bring to the dance and who you can't, and what you can wear. Some don't, you know, but the ultimate goal is a celebration of the beginning of the year, homecoming, right? And then there's all these parts going up to it, and that's, you know, everybody does it differently, right?
Yes.
Each kid gets to the dance differently. Each kid gets their dresses or doesn't get their, like, wears what they want to. So, like, I feel like the analogy is amazing. I also love the football one, like the kicking and the throwing and the like. Yes, that's awesome.
Yes.
Yes.
The great thing was being able to wear jeans all week. That's my spirit week. Like every spirit week except for one of them. Like I think it was surfers versus beach surfers versus bikers. So I got to wear shorts. So that was nice. Wearing shorts to school on a school day. I mean, come on. That's a teacher's dream.
It's a teacher's dream. I love it.
All right. I'm going to draw a football here. All right. And then yes. All right. Okay. All right. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I think we're ready.
I do.
That was a great question.
That was a good question.
A very good question.
The bowl is like flowing. Let's see what happens with this next one. The orb.
Come on, orb. Don't let us down.
You got to do a little bit more with the orb, you know, instead of just grabbing. I think you got to hold the orb and just do a bit.
Well, so usually we have
your eyes and give it a bit of, you know, a little bit of something.
A little bit of drama, maybe.
Yeah.
So
orb, there's some orb music, you know, get some
orb music.
Get some thematic music. So this is a random question, but I feel like it couldn't have been a more perfect random question for Mike. Okay. What movie title best describes your life?
Oh gosh.
Because you're a huge movie buff, right? And TV.
I'm a very huge movie buff.
Yes.
Okay. I would say I want to say so let me just get this straight. I get to choose my own movie title. I don't have to choose a movie title that's already been made, right?
I love that idea. I say whichever one works for you. I don't know, however you read the question.
All right. For you. So I'm gonna make my own.
Love it.
Okay. I'm gonna say The Road Not Taken.
Like it.
The Road Not Taken. The reason why is you know, I started out as, you know, as we talked about in the introduction, that I did not like science and was kind of pushed down that road. Immigrant parents, and you know, in terms of immigrant parents, I think two paths to success was engineering and doctor. So medical was going to be my field, and science was going to be the way I was going to go. So medical. And it was a lot of sit and get. I mean, a lot of sit and get. Sit and get, sit and get, sit and get. And until I really got to university, college courses, where I actually realized that, we actually got to do some real experimenting rather than just sitting down and hearing a teacher talk and doing these prefabricated labs. We actually got to play around and kind of design down a road, got to play around with these experiments and kind of design our own experiments. Almost, I think constructivism is kind of a word that's been thrown around a lot. The idea to kind of design your own lab, to kind of build your own lab, to play around. But I think that really kind of set off my brain a little bit. And I think what I realized then was that what I really enjoyed was really the teaching aspect of it, that ability to set a student's brain on fire. And what I ended up doing is one of the things that, in terms of majors, one of the things that they recommended is that you not take as a starting freshman. They recommended not taking like a science major, like a heavy science major, if you wanted to get into med school or whatever. So I decided, okay, I'm just going to take a teaching major, and that'll give me this quote unquote in. And so I ended up taking a lot of these. It was a broad field science teaching major with English minor, and ended up taking a lot of courses under that umbrella, where I really, really loved what I was getting. And at some point, I just kind of realized, okay, I'm going to come straight forward to my parents and say, all right, this is the road I want to take. And they were very accepting of it and saw that it was making me happy. And I really, really enjoyed it. And the fact that they saw it brought me a lot of joy, made me really happy. So there was one road that would have led me to be a doctor. And the question is, I think in terms of the hours and the work and the time frame, I think that probably would have made me very sad. But in terms of the road not taken, or the road that I did take, ended up being teaching, which
I love it.
has ended up making me super joyful. Even though I think probably, if we want to talk about a third of the pay, I've got great benefits.
Yes.
I've got wonderful benefits and a wonderful union. I don't want to get too much into the union side if people aren't into that, but the pay that I'm not getting is easily made up in the work that I do. The work that I do is so much more fulfilling than the work that I would possibly have been doing as a doctor, in my opinion.
I like it. I also like the analogy of brains on fire. That just made me smile. I like to light their brains on fire.
Yes.
I feel like I have to add color to my flame, and I always forget what colors are.
Well, I'm going to have to, because right now it just looks like I drew a brain with a weird crown on it. I'm gonna have to add so we know it's a flame and not a crown, which it can be a crowned brain. That's okay too.
Yes. Well, there is a little crown in the background, looking between the two.
Orange.
The two doodle screens. There's all right. Okay, let me add some color to mine. Gosh, actually, I'm gonna do just a little bit more doodling.
Awesome.
All right. I'm a terrible doodler. I'm an excellent doodler as well. If there was only one doodler in the world, I'd be the best doodler.
I feel that way about physics. If I was the only physicist in the world, I'd be the best at it. So, but I'm definitely not. So,
All right, just gonna add some. I feel like my test tube needs green, for whatever reason.
Oh. Football players should have
One other
helmets.
question.
Sorry. I'm drawing football players without helmets. Gosh. Safety first.
Safety first.
I'm not gonna draw the old leather helmets.
I just
now
avoid
it looks like they're wearing sunglasses.
That's okay. Mandy and I can relate. The thought, the let's just add one more line thought is the one that I try to avoid, because usually it's better before the extra line.
Okay.
oh, always. Yes. Always. Okay. All right. Ready?
All right, let's draw another question. We'll pull
All
another
right.
question. I'm closing my eyes this time for Mike.
All right.
There's the sound effect.
That's not the bull song. Let's not make that the bull.
All right, I'll make this song. Okay.
There we go. Sound effects by Mike Mohammad.
Copyright.
What's that? Yeah. Copyright. We'll make sure we pay you your royalties when
All
we
right.
use it.
Thank you.
It'll be big bucks. So the bowl's bringing for you today. What are the keys to a great music playlist?
All right. Okay. Oh gosh.
Because you love your music as well as your movies, correct?
Yeah, I love my music, and that is the key to a great music playlist.
Bowie, yes.
Yes, that I think everyone has got their own taste. I think experimenting and exploring and asking other people is really the key to a great music playlist. I think now I am very I'm very mood setting about my music playlists. I create so I think rating songs is first. Stars, I use Apple Music, so I think ratings comes first. You may have a whole bunch of albums, but I think ratings come first. And then the mood they set. So is it calm or is it bouncy, jumpy? So like I'll have a specific one for kind of like working out, a specific one for if I'm doing yoga or something for like that, where I just want to be calm and in the moment. And then just one if I just want background. I think that's really the key to a great music playlist. And then the other thing is really sometimes you just have to take a risk.
Yes.
Take a risk. And if students are willing to, and again, this goes back way back to the very start of this, I think asking students, all right, give me one song to add to the playlist. All right.
I love that because they always have such great suggestions.
Yes. And I think someone had, what's really weird is, gosh, if I look back, there are some songs that like I could scroll through and it's like, I do not know that one. But then there are some that I definitely knew. It's like someone says Sympathy for the Devil. And I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, I know that one. It's like there's ones that you know, and there's one specifically from your generation. So Sympathy from the Devil is clearly, I don't want to say clearly, but it's before my generation, before our generation. But there are ones from our generation that we could clearly pick out and we say, oh yeah, those are our songs. When we were your age, this is my song, this is my song, this is my song. And then there's ones that, oh my God, what? I've never heard of that person. And then you set the playlist, and during work time, why not play during class?
Yeah.
Yep.
Why not play during class? And then when the song comes on, if you have work time, you don't crank it, but just have it in the background. If it's playing and a student hears their song, if you want to talk about student being recognized,
Yes, totally. Yes.
if you want a student being recognized, hey, you heard me and you heard my voice.
Yes, I agree. It's a fun little connector.
Yeah.
On the list on the plate for sure. I agree with you.
Yes. So again, I'd say again, oh gosh, again, I'm not a great drawer. And then running. So again, different moods, but again, one thing I try to do, and it's really one of those tasks that kind of fell off in the last year. So I will have, it's just ridiculous how much time I'll spend rating songs. So I'll have a playlist called Not Rated.
Oh, funny.
I have a playlist called Not Rated, which I will actually play songs and rate them.
Nice.
Which is kind of ridiculous and
it's fun.
It is fun. And
yeah.
Oh no, you're just making me think about like what a happy time we live in for music, because I feel like before Apple Music and Spotify were things, I didn't really have like such a passion for music, because the thought of going to buy a cassette tape, bringing it home, not liking it, and I spent my money on it, was just exhausting. But now in this day and age, we have access to so much music, people that are, have a label and don't have a label. It's just a wonderful time to be a music listener.
Yes. Remember those wood boxes that we would have with our cassette tapes in them?
Yes. I just drew a Walkman.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
Oh my gosh.
Which is funny because we were talking about music, but the first thing that Mike likes to fix is music systems. So it's kind of, we're a little full circle here.
Yeah.
Yes. Very much so.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I absolutely 100% agree with you about taking the time to ask students about their music and building a class playlist. It's just a small thing to do to build relationship with kids.
Yeah.
And it's also a super sneaky way for teachers to stay on top of things that kids like.
Yes, very much so. And it's one of those things that I really believe about asking students about their passions, whatever it be. But I just think, again, super sneaky, 30 seconds All right.
More and more note card. Yep.
Even if students have to pull out their, we have phone caddies for students to put their phones in. All right. If you want to grab your phone from your caddy, all right. Here's a second. You can pull your phone from your caddy, from the caddy. All right. Look up your songs, type in your song, and let's see what it is. Even if it's Taylor Swift.
Yes.
I'll add that to my playlist.
I know. I just drew an ear, which is terrible, but that's okay. I think I spent 3 or 4 years never having. I'm not a country music lover, and I apologize to anybody who listens to us who is, but I was so happy that we went years without any country music, and then last year, it made it to our playlist. But it's also a good, I also feel like having a class playlist is also a great lesson in tolerance too. That we can listen to other people's music. We don't like the music, but we like them, or they're our classmate, and we're going to listen to it because they like it.
Exactly. Gosh, if listening to any other student, it's like, okay, you're actually gonna, even if you don't like it, maybe, who knows, maybe you'll find something you might like, even if you say that, oh, this is not for me, maybe you'll all of a sudden at the end of the day be like, oh, I did kind of like it.
Yeah. Or it also just creates that little tiny smidge of a moment in your classroom where maybe Bob and Sal aren't friends, but Bob remembers that Sal really liked that country music, back in the 8th grade. Do you remember when it was funny when that country song came on in Mrs. Baughcum's class? It's just a little thread that combines people.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah. All right, I think I have space, and we have time for one, maybe two, one more.
Yeah,
okay.
I think we've got one more.
All right.
You have a little bit more space than I do.
Okay. So I have to talk to the bull really quick because I know which question I want it to give us. Okay. But let's see if it gives it to me. I might just ask it anyways at the end. It's not the question I wanted it to give us. But this will be an equally as good one because the bull knows Mike. What makes a great movie night?
Oh my gosh, a great movie night. Well, so a great movie night. Oh my gosh. What makes a great movie night is first a great movie.
That's a good point.
That everyone either okay, so let me just draw the TV first.
I'm drawing a TV also. I was gonna do a movie screen. I'm like, no, that's too.
No. I already had a TV, so I'm just gonna write great movie on it.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. So I think the first thing that makes a great movie night is having someone to talk to.
Aw, yes.
Or a dog to snuggle with.
Yes, true.
Snacks, snacks or no snacks, that's not the point of it. I think the point of it is actually could be an old movie, it could be a new movie. What I actually really think makes a great movie night is finding something a little bit new. A great movie night is discovering something new. And a site that I really like is something called Metacritic.
Oh.
And what it does is, if you can imagine what Metacritic would do, it gives movies a score based on tabulating the top critics around the country.
Oh, that's clever.
Yes. So whether or not you know it, for the past year, I was the last school year I was on leave and had some medical issues, so I haven't really watched too many movies for the last year.
Okay.
So it's it's been a question about me getting caught up with movies. So rather than just search through top 10 lists, looking at Metacritic and discovering a great movie really makes it a great movie. And then, just really having someone to share it with. It doesn't have to be a big discussion, in my opinion. I think the big thing is night. Let's just draw a little moon.
You're reading my mind. It's gonna draw a moon too.
Yeah, draw a crescent moon.
Yep.
But I really think someone to talk to about it. Whether or not you both liked it or both did not like it. Oh gosh, I'm now trying to remember what the other night we were watching a movie and we were like, gosh, I don't know why it was picked. It was like, what is this movie? It like popped up on Netflix and someone said it was good, and I don't know who said it was good. It wasn't one. It was not one. I'm just gonna say it's not one that I chose, but somehow it came up and it started playing, and I have no idea what it was about. I do not have a clue what it was about, but it was like I was doing some work, and that did not make it a good movie night. A good movie night is really two or more people focusing on the movie.
Agreed.
It's not laptops, cell phones out.
Agreed.
Is put away your devices. Like I'm just gonna put a little box where we put stash devices. So it's really about togetherness. I think it's about being close. And again, if it's the kiddos, finding something appropriate for the kiddos is good.
Yes.
That's always fun. And if it's something that you watched as a kid, like I don't have any kids, but man, I would love to fire up the Goonies. If I had kids, I would fire up the Goonies right away. That would probably be one of the first things, if not Superman 2. That would probably be one of the first ones that I would fire up.
Christopher Reeve Superman.
Yes.
Yeah, Christopher Reeve Superman. Yeah.
Or any of the Indiana Jones. Okay, the first Raiders Lost Ark, of course.
Yes, classic for sure.
Yes.
I will say that it's funny how we remember movies and TV shows, and then there have been a couple where I had the most fondest memories and the most like really great emotional connection to things, and then I've shown it to my kids and they either laughed at it, like Pee Wee Herman. I love the Pee Wee Herman movie. I don't know why, I just did. It was fun to me, and I showed it to my kids. We didn't even get 10 minutes in before my kids were like, "What is this?" And you liked it. And they destroyed me. And then the other thing was that I have mom trauma. I loved watching Thundercats grow up, and we turned that on, and my kids were like, "What is this? This is terrible, Mom. Turn it off."
Okay, then what makes a great movie night is getting the orb out. Get the orb out. Put the names in the orb.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. Right.
But who gets to pick the movie that night?
It's also a good movie night when everybody
can. It's not always mom. It's not always. It is sometimes it's the kids.
The kids, yes, for sure.
Even if you have to suffer a little bit,
it can be suffering.
Who knows? Then you just turn and look at them.
Yes.
And just see the smiles.
Even if it's anime.
Oh, I know, right? We went through many years of My Little Pony.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
My Little Pony.
Oh, no. We went to see a couple of those movies too. Oh boy, that was always fun.
Wow.
But in retrospect, we just laugh about it because they just create great moments, time spent together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on my Doodle and Chat and Mandi's, and then Mike, if you want to share yours, you can, but you don't. There's no requirement of that.
Yes, I'd be happy to.
Look at all that fun, and you got keys.
I did, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, the keys to a good. You're so clever.
Wow.
And then, oh, I love how you did the Road Not Taken starring Mike Mohammad. That is super clever. That is awesome. That brain is something else.
I put some color on it. It still kind of looks like a crown though, like maybe a Game of Thrones crown, but
I love it. It's like a Bowie crown.
It is, yes.
I love it. I don't know if we're gonna be able to see all of mine, but got lots of some random. This is supposed to be an ear. It didn't quite turn into. I don't know.
There's supposed to be a one.
It's supposed to be an ear, but now that I look at it, it looks like a little minion or something going into the TV. There's your cassette tape or your cassette, your Walkman.
Wow.
And football.
And football.
So fun. It was fun to draw a movie poster of Mike.
I love the movie poster too. I went with Marquis, but it's funny that we have similar things on them.
Yeah, and then even it was really fun to hear Mike think out loud, before he drew, and I was like, oh, and that was just in my head too. It was a fun little connection for sure.
All right. Now my doodle's not going to be as good, of course.
You're going to show yours?
Yes, of course I'll show mine.
Awesome.
Right, so let's see.
Oh my gosh, you have a lot.
Yeah.
Mike.
So again, TV and speakers, even though these are old school speakers, what we have is a sound bar. We got a sound bar just instead of old school speakers because I'm married.
This is amazing.
Old school speakers. And again, Perry.
Yes.
2 students, student voice. We had students saying, I know, I don't know. So that communication between them.
Yep.
That ability, again, that arrow going back and forth.
Yes.
No teacher there is no teacher there, and that Perry is the one who connects them.
I love it.
All right. And then again, that cycle of voice and expression. So it's going to the next unit, and then the idea is aligning expression to a goal.
Yes.
Right. And the role not taken, a doctor probably would have made maybe sad. But teaching was the road not taken. And that has made me very joyful.
I love it.
And again, the football, again, gosh, that football player down there. I
love it though. I love it.
I really don't know how good that is, but
that is absolutely fabulous.
There are many ways to get to the first down.
Yes.
Down. All right. In terms of playlist, the first thing that I always love to do is ranking songs out of 5 stars, and then the mood. Again, it may be like low and flow, and the idea is that I tried to draw someone kind of like sitting calmly, and then the more zigzaggy one was someone kind of running. I don't know what I drew. That looks like a shopping cart, but shopping cart that I crossed out. So let's forget that. And for some reason, next to it, then take a risk with music.
Yes.
And then for some reason, so I listen to, I use earbuds, and I use my iPhone. So somehow the earbuds are bigger than my head.
I love it.
I do too. I also do earbuds. That's awesome.
Yes. And then finally, the great movie night. It happens at night at home.
Yes.
And of course, the devices are put away.
I
But
love it.
we actually talk to each other, and if there's a kiddo, have the kiddo in the room.
Yes.
And Metacritic, again, if you've never heard of Metacritic, take a look at it. Take a look at it. You might find some interesting movies there that you may have never heard of that are indies from the years gone past. I highly recommend it. It's being out. I won't go too much into it, but I actually had encephalitis that actually knocked me out for quite a bit, and I had a long hospital stay, and actually 2 different hospital stays. So my position has actually changed. I'm no longer teaching science anymore. I'm a teaching and learning specialist full time, though. And so instead of teaching students, I'm actually helping teachers. Sorry. So it's kind of like, if you want to think about phase 3 in a career, think about phase 1 being, oh, new teacher. Phase 2, oh yeah, I got this. Phase 3 is, oh, let's pass the baton.
Yeah,
love
for
that.
sure.
Let's pass on the baton.
Yep.
I love it. And how lucky your district is to have you.
I mean, well, I would say is I'm grateful to them.
Good.
Have that faith in me. And I'll say I'm grateful to the medical team that has, and I'm, some people with this condition wouldn't be back here. So I'm lucky to be back here, and somehow I won't go into the story. Some people probably wouldn't be able to appear on this show right now and talking the way I'm talking.
Yeah.
That's what I will say.
Well,
I would say the majority of the people with the condition that I have.
Well, we are very happy that you're here, and it didn't take too long into this Doodle and Chat to realize the incredible wealth of knowledge and experience that you have in education, that you still have, that you're going to be able to share with so many educators in your district. And just, even if it's just a small drop of what you know that you already have brought to the classroom that you share with them, they'll be luckier for it.
Yes. And it's coming back every day, the ability to share and actually go into other classrooms. I think that's one thing I would recommend.
Yeah.
The one thing I would recommend is that teachers, if you have a prep period, go into another teacher's classroom.
That's a great idea.
And just see how they teach, because there's a teacher that I maybe spoke 2 sentences to, maybe over the however many years I've been in this school, and actually subbed for him all day yesterday, and to be able to see his classroom and to see the work he does was really amazing. So I highly recommend that to all teachers, to get out of your zone, because we are kind of locked in our classrooms.
We are.
Use that key, the key that was drawn.
Yes.
Key, unlock your doors, and take the road less traveled.
Yeah.
Head out of your department.
Yes.
Head out of your department. Head into the art classrooms, which I love, and head into the music classrooms. Head into the history department. Head in wherever, and just see how they teach. See how they interact with students, because how the people in your department interact with their students, but do you know how other people do, other departments do, other teachers do? So highly recommend that.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for being part of Doodle and Chat.
Oh, my pleasure.
And to anybody here who joined us live or is joining us later, if you decided to doodle along with us while we doodle about Mike, please share it, snap a picture of your Doodle and Chat, and share it out on X, the app, Twitter.
Formerly known as Twitter.
I know. We're on Threads. We're on Instagram. We're also on Facebook now. I know. Mandi and I always love to see how people connect to the Doodle and Chat show with us. And then be sure to join us back here next Saturday morning. We have a 5 weeks September this month. So we get lots of episodes. where when Mandi and I doodle, it was Zentangle
Zentangle.
and chat. We'll be back here September 30th, Saturday, September 30th at 9:33ish, and we'll see everybody then. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.